Happy Saturday to you, everyone. Hope you're doing well out there. Today I want to focus on the vibration or the tone function on remote training callers. I have found with my personal experience and meeting with clients over the years that that is a function that is either used all the way correctly. I mean, they're spot on in its use. It's really productive. Or I find it's not really used at all. And that's too bad because it does have a good use in training your dog. So let's just kind of break it down. First of all, when it comes to remote training callers, most of them come with the various levels of communication to your dog. And that's what the tool is at the end of the day. It's a means to communicate to your dog, to reach out and touch your dog at a long distance, so you don't have to be tethered to your dog. They came around in the late 1960s, early 70s, and they were designed to be used with hunting dogs. There's hunting dogs that utilized, or hunters that utilized the remote training collars to begin with, and the vibration button on those collars back in those days really didn't exist. It really had one tool to correct the dog at a distance. But then over the years, they started to add different types of functions to these remote collars. And some of these have tones, some have tones with vibration, some have vibration no tone. And now there are devices, remote devices, that are vibration or tone only. Okay, so again, really at the end of the day, it's just a means of reaching out there and getting your dog's attention, communicating something to your dog. It'd be no different than if my cell phone started going off in my pocket right now. It didn't make a tone, it just started vibrating. That'd be someone's way of communicating to me, trying to influence my behavior. But at the end of the day, that's not going to matter if you don't do the proper pairing with the vibration collar or vibration function. You have to pair it just like you would anything else. And if you're a dog and all of a sudden you feel something vibrating on your neck, or you hear a tone, well, you're probably just going to go, okay, well, what the heck is that? There's something getting on my darn neck there. And what is that irritating sound I keep hearing? You have to pair it with something else, otherwise it's just meaningless. Or you can even have the situation occur in which the dog, if you don't do intended pairing, they'll simply just pair it with whatever else it thinks it needs to pair it with. Case in point. So I have a dog that's maybe got two paws up on a boulder. All of a sudden the vibration goes off. The dog may hop down real quickly and look around and go, huh, what was that? I don't know, whatever. Maybe it puts its paws back on the boulder and you have the time again and get the vibration in, and now all of a sudden, every single time you press that, the dog's going to go through a process of elimination. Okay, so where was that boulder? Because I kind of noticed something here. Every time I put my paws on the boulder, I feel that vibration. And that may not be what you intend for your dog to do, or to the behavior you're trying to evoke from your dog from pressing the vibration button. So again, it's a great function, but you've got to pair it with something. Now, over the years, and people I've seen use these, here's how it's been used. And let me just demonstrate here. I'm going to hold up this little remote training collar on top of this laptop, and I'm going to put it real close to my microphone here, so that you can hear it go off. Hopefully you guys can hear that. And if you can see it, this remote collar starts to dance across the top of this laptop. And that's all it is. There's no stimulus whatsoever as far as any sort of correction level. It just vibrates like a pager back in the days. I don't even know if they have pagers anymore. But what it's been used for is that the hunter or the trainer did not want to correct the dog, but they wanted to communicate with the dog. They opted for the vibration function or the tone function. And most hunters in the beginning, when they spoke with engineers, they said, let's use the vibration first, because there's a lot of shotguns going off, and there's a lot of noise out in the woods. You run through the woods, it's fall day, I've got all these leaves. I think there's a better chance that my dog will feel something versus hear something. So it was invited in, and in the beginning, it was actually used as a reward signal, a way to communicate to the dog, hey, you did good. You're a long ways away from me, but I need you to know, man, what you just did right there was spot on perfect. So when these dogs were little puppies, or they were very new in training, they would hit the vibration buzz, treat, buzz, treat, buzz, treat. So it didn't take the dog long to start figuring out, hey, that buzz means treat. And treat got associated with good dog. Way to go. You sit, your butt hits the ground, you get buzz, you get treat, you get good dog. And all of those became what's known as a single sweep. So if I can open up my marker here, I'll show it to you. So imagine like this big old box up here. Okay, so now we have good boy. I'm going to put GB up there. Good boy. That's an auditory signal to the animal. You just did good. And then we're going to hit that old vibration button on there. Yeah, now you're feeling how good you just did. Yeah, baby. And then here comes that treat. Yeah, this is going to give you something to eat right now. Woo, way to go. And later on, I can add a whistle in there if I want to let you know about all this stuff. And this became known as a single sweep. And now it all became paired together. No different if you're driving down the road, you see a rectangular box, you see 1, 2, 3 circles in it with various colors of lights. You start to realize, hey, because of where it is, the context in which it's found, that's obviously a red light. All of those signals have been paired together, and they can evoke certain responses from you depending upon the color of the light. So this is known as a single sweep, and that's how it was done and done properly. It was done with reward. So now they can take that hunting dog, let's say a duck retrieving dog, they can now send it, go. It jumps out of the boat, jumps out of the blind, or runs down the dock, jumps in the water, and the dog's job is to swim straight. In other words, you don't know where the duck is or the decoy is in training. I do. I'm the hunter here. I'm the trainer. Just start swimming straight and keep swimming straight until I tell you to stop. So they just start swimming. Then all of a sudden there's a whistle blast. When that happens, the dog is trained to stop swimming, turn around, face the trainer or the hunter. And if they do that in the beginning, they now feel a vibration. And they know from this right here, I did good. Yeah, that was good. I did right? I turned around, I'm facing you. And they begin to dance from there to, okay, you need to go further back. So again, a couple more whistle blasts and the dog goes further back or guides off the hand signal. You need to go left. You need to go right. You need to come back towards me. In other words, the hunter learns to steer the dog to the duck, or the trainer steers the dog to the decoy. And along the way, in the very beginning, when you're doing each one of these steps correctly, wow, that vibration mode lets the dog know you did well. If you do not get the vibration mode, you didn't do so good. And we might have to work on something. And it was the same thing when I worked with marine mammals, whether they were sea lions in a project called Quick Find, or the 2 dolphin projects I worked on a short time in bottom look. Whistles meant fish. Whistles meant fish. And then there just simply became a time gap between the whistle, or you got multiple whistles, meaning you did multiple movements perfectly, and now the fish will soon arrive. There's no difference from these dogs. If you want to use the tone or the vibration mode on your remote training collar, that's how you get it done. You need to start off with an instant pairing with tone, treat, or vibration, treat. Over again. I throw in a good boy, good girl along that way as well. Because again, here's the neat thing about single sweeps. Once you have this, these are all connected together. Guess what? That vibration thing can come out and that good boy will suffice. Or a certain whistle tone will suffice. They become interchangeable parts. Alright, so that's used as a reward. You can use it in obedience. You can actually have your dog do something when it feels that vibration. So in other words, not just telling you good boy, no. When I trained dogs many years ago, when I was a police canine officer and I trained dogs for police work, it was to our advantage to teach the dog to come to us when I called you silently. Yeah, in case you're doing a building search with a very dangerous criminal, you don't want to be sticking your head around the corner going, hey, dogger, come. No, that's a good way to give up your location and you get shot. So instead, I taught my dog that when he felt the vibration, come to me. That's it, yeah, come to me. So how did that get done? Same thing. Single sweep, except now I added the word come into that sweep. I'm just going to add come, and I'm going to take out the whistle. And so therefore, what would happen is I would have him on a short release to start with, and I'd hit come, vibrate, same time. So you got to be able to multitask here, people. I'm telling you what, you got to be able to chew gum and walk at the same darn time. So come, vibrate, hold the vibration the whole time until the dog gets to you. And again, this is only from 4 feet, 6 feet, maybe 8 feet away with your extended arm. That's it. You do that in the beginning about 50 times. Now the dog's going, okay. Don't know what the vibration thing is, kind of feeling this thing here, but I have noticed that when the dude says come, I feel it when I get to Bryan, it goes away and I get that treat. Bingo! There we go. Now we have my intended pairing taking place. And then later on, because it's a single sweep, compound singles out the yin yang, I can use either or. I can say come and vibrate, or I can just say come and no vibrate, or I can just use vibrate by itself. Pretty cool, huh? Now, the only problem with that is you can't use this same stereotypical tone or vibration to create multiple responses. Very difficult. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying from a practical sense. I guess if you gave vibrate, pause, vibrate, vibrate, pause, vibrate, kind of like Morse code back in the day, you might be able over enough time to get your dog to do something, but keep it simple, stupid. Don't go down that road. Pick one behavior you really want to have happen and train your dog that it feels this to that. Okay, another thing is attention getter. When we train deaf dogs, which we train a lot of them, hey, you got to be able to get their attention. I mean, you can't say come. No, you have to have something that goes, hey, excuse me, I see what you're doing over there. Yeah, I know. That's a great squirrel. I go after it too. Like, I need you to come over here. How do you get that dog's attention? You can train it with the vibration to look at you. So same sort of thing. You have your deaf dog, you get the vibration, dog's on the leash, dog's going. And you just kind of wave over here. Eventually, it sees that little wave. And it looks at it. You let go. The tree. So look around at something over here, kind of check out the scenery, feel vibration. I'm looking around. Also, I'm looking at Bryan. The tree. It goes away. Yeah, and then later on I can add that thing in come. I can teach all these hand signals. But hand signals don't mean anything. You have to squat unless the dog is looking in your direction. It has to see the hand signal to respond to the hand signal. Again, great tool for deaf dogs. Of course, we're not going to use the tone ones. I don't have to tell you that. We use the vibration for those. Okay, and then here's the way that gets used incorrect. As a warning. As a warning. So many people use this as a warning. They want to go away from giving the dog the stimulus that can be used at corrective levels. So they just want to kind of wean off of that. They just want to give the dog a warning. Well, I'm telling you what, if you have to, here's the first little problem. Here's the first thing I have a little problem. It's kind of like a kid. If you have to keep warning for certain behavior, you just got to keep that up. Well, first of all, you're training, whether it's a child or with a human, it's really effective. It's been ineffective. It doesn't mean anything to the animal. It doesn't mean anything. So why am I going to sit here and just warn you and warn you and warn you? Why don't I just either A, create a wonderful behavior, or B, eliminate a really bad behavior and just get it over with? Be done with it. Again, the young puppy that walks up to an adult dog and harasses it, the adult dog nips, comes out, runs away. Comes back the next day to harass the adult dog again, the adult dog growls this time. I don't know what the growl means. I don't know how to interpret that signal. Something I get nipped. Oh, okay, growl and nip, they go together. That's a compound signal. Again, I can use either or. So now the third day, puppy approaches the adult dog, works, puppy leaves. Yeah, you got to have something to catch these things. So if you're going to use this as some warning tool, like here, buzz, vibrate, then stem, just stem. Get it over with. Because here's, now going down the list, so I'm going to talk about pros and cons when it comes to these things. So that's one of my biggest cons. When you use it as a warning that you're about to get it, well, depends on what the dog's doing that you're warning it. whether that's actually going to work. Depends on what comes next. It really does. Again, using my laboratory rats as an example, they gave them the intermittent shocks I talked about the other day in the video, and it raised their blood pressure. Massive response from their stress response. Massive, massive response. Okay, then they gave them a warning bell. The second later, they gave them a shock again. Well, what they found out is that it really lowered their stress response. Big time. Big time. So, of course, right now you're keying off this thing going, hey, I guess if I warn it, I'm going to lower my dog's stress response. But here's the bad side of this. Here's what is wrong with this whole thing. Let me tell you about the in-between the dots part. When these rats, yes, they did relax because they had predictive information. They had a warning that a shock was coming. But that's exactly it. They just went about their business. They just went about doing whatever they wanted to do. Whether it was a good thing or whether it was a bad thing, it was good. So the audio is bad. Test 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, so hopefully we're still here. It looks like we're having all sorts of problems, both internet problems, we're having audio problems. I don't know what's going on with this thing here, but I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this thing up here in a real hurry. So my problem with using it as a warning is that that means that before the warning occurs, the dog's just really going to go doing this behavior, including even bad behaviors. Why? I can afford to do so because you'll let me know when I'm starting to do something bad. Why don't you just train the dog to not do something bad in the first place? And here goes, now again, as we go down that rabbit hole just a little bit more here, down that funnel, here we go. Not only will I just do whatever I want to do until you warn me, but also I start becoming dependent upon that. Yeah, there's a dependency. The dog actually depends upon that because that little warning got thrown into the single suite with the no that's coming next, knock it off that's coming next, or down's coming next, or stay, buoy, whatever. It becomes dependent upon that because it's used all the time. Warn, 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 more warn. So the more you warn me, the more that thing just gets drugged in and becomes permanently attached to any other signals. And then lastly, habituation. Yeah, remember I've told you before, any signal at a low level, now I'm not talking high pain, I'm talking low level, any signal at an irritant level would be a ticking clock, a train running down the track every night at midnight while you're asleep. Any signal that is repeated in a stereotypical fashion over and over and over again, the animal or human receiving that signal will eventually habituate to it. All right, so now all of a sudden the warning doesn't work at all. Doesn't mean squat to me. I feel that thing all the time. I feel that 20 stinking times a day. Doesn't mean a darn thing. Which then means you're back to square one, going back to the stem. And because they've kind of gotten used to a little vibration on their neck, I have found that the stem actually has to go higher. In other words, you have to prove your point. You have to prove that you'll follow through. So don't do that. Don't. And then another thing, again, as I go further down this hole, when these things came out in the vibration mode, it was originally for hunting dogs. Yeah, they got a tougher temperament. They got a lot of things on their mind, a lot of things that distract them from this thing on their neck. Boom, hey, there's a rabbit, there's a deer, I'm supposed to go get that duck. It wasn't meant originally for pets, softer, milder temperament dogs. So I found on some dogs, if you hit the vibration on this, it is 10 times worse than if you hit the stem. Yeah, some of you probably know what I'm talking about. I've had dogs that you couldn't adjust, like on this particular model, there's no adjusting the vibration. There is none. Whatever this thing feels like, it feels like, period. Whatever level that thing is in here, it is. Towards the stem, I can turn it so low that a dog wouldn't feel it on side balls to a high level, where it definitely will feel it. But the vibration on most models, you get what you get. The tone, you get what you get. You don't get to adjust it.
Now, there are some devices out there that are vibration only or tone only, and those you can make an adjustment. So those of you working with deaf dogs, you don't want to use the stem to correct, you just want to get your dog's attention, highly recommend that you purchase one of those and use it. But man, you can't adjust that. So I've had a lot of mild-mannered dogs at the very second you press this vibration, that's it. They're gone through the roof. So that brings me to my pros here. It can be used as a correction tool. You can, as a milder correction. It can. Instead of that warning, it's a flat-out correction at a low level. So a lot of dogs who just can't handle these upper levels, I got the perfect tool right here. This thing just seems to work good enough. Good enough. Kind of like those dogs trained in those invisible underground fences. After a while, you don't even have to turn the collar on. If they just wear the collar, they're good. Or if they see that flag, I'm good. I'm just staying inside the yard. So you can kind of accomplish the same thing with that. Also, it can, on a pro side, not only just be the just right correction for a lot of dogs, but again, it's that silent communicator. I love just putting my hands in my pocket, pressing a button, suddenly my dog appears. That is way cool. I love being on a hike, Captain's running loose, and all my previous dogs, my Shepherds, my Malinois, my Huskies, you name it, they're gone. They're probably in the next county. But as long as I can reach them, my signal can reach them, if I hit that vibration button, they come hunting Bryan down. They're on their way. So now I don't have to worry about the sound of traffic or leaves on the ground. My dog is coming to you, and my police dog came to me. And when I train service dogs for children with muscular dystrophy, every single one of them were trained to come to their owner when the vibration button was hit. So they would immediately return to them. Okay, guys, so that's a lot. I apologize for the audio. Welcome to, it's technology, and sometimes vibration buttons work, sometimes they don't work. Sometimes the tone works, sometimes it doesn't work. Welcome to it. You all get it. By now it's 2020. You kind of get that thing here. Hopefully I talked loud enough that I could work my way through the audio. But there you go. At the end of the day, the vibration button, the way that Bryan uses it, is a silent recall. But hunters, they use it as a reward system to their dog. You can use it as an attention getter for deaf dogs. The only thing I really don't like it to be used for is a warning. Why? Why? I am not going to have Captain die the death of 1,000 cuts. No. If that's bad, I don't like that behavior, that doesn't work for me, I'm just simply going to make it go away. You're not going to continue to repeat that over and over the rest of your life. No way. I don't plan on carrying some remote collar with me the rest of my life. In fact, it's just the means that justifies the end. Once I get to the end, like Captain right here, he's laying down here on the floor next to me, he's naked. He's been naked a long time. He has nothing on him, no collar, no nothing. The only thing he's got is a microchip underneath his skin. That's it. I'm just not going to keep warning you. Heck no, it's kind of like telling a kid, stop it, stop it, stop it. All you have to do, you know what happens? Now you got to just yell, stop it, louder and louder and louder. It just becomes more noise in an already noisy world. And the same thing with this vibration. Just another sensation in a world filled with sensations. No. Use it for everything else I told you, but don't use it as a warning. Let that be a warning to you that you need to get busy making that behavior that you feel like you might have to correct if they don't stop, go away. So the rest of the day can be spent with a big old smile on your face and having a great time with your dog. All right, guys, that's it. For vibration or tone mode on remote training collars, don't ignore that darn thing. It's got a lot of good purposes. Pick one yourself, and one of the ones I told you about. Got any questions on it, send them to me. There's a million ways to reach dear old Bryan, and I'll be glad to reach back out to you and answer those questions, or I'll post my answer right here on Facebook Live. All right, I've taken up enough of your Saturday, and definitely enough of mine. And Captain's looking pretty bored, like he wants to go chase the ball or something. So we're going to get out of here, go do a little bit of training, but mostly we're just going to go have a great day. And I hope you do the same. See you guys.